In this video, oh, by the way, I just have to do it again. On screen now, this new Model 3, I just have to show it again. This thing is just so... Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. In this video, some stunning new data shows Tesla's 200 IQ plan is paying off, both figuratively and literally. In essence, we will be looking at facts, which, in case you don't know, don't care about your feelings. And by the way, what a great segue into my most recent ex-subscriber only video, in which a supposed automotive industry expert embarrasses himself by thinking his feelings are facts. Click the link in the pinned comment to subscribe over on X. Fair warning though, it's kind of painful to watch. After seeing this chart showing the price declines on Model S and X throughout 2023, Chamath Palihapitiya had this to say: I was shocked when I saw this chart. The speed and aggressiveness with which Tesla is cutting prices is the way to beat the end boss. Rapidly increasing price affordability times constantly improving hardware and software equals super maximized market demand. No shit, Sherlock. It's worth taking a moment to really dwell on this sentence because Chamath has hit the nail on the fucking head. If you make your products as affordable as possible, as fast as possible, while simultaneously, constantly making both the hardware and software as good as possible, you will, wait, what's the word here? I feel like Tesla's mission statement kind of told us. Oh, that's right. Accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, despite what a lot of folks will tell you, you can't advertise your way to affordable, compelling vehicles. Question: how does Tesla sell 20 million vehicles per year later this decade? Answer: by advertising. No, by making them much more affordable and much more compelling. And don't get me wrong here, as I've said in the past, I won't rehash this, but advertising does work to a small segment of the marketplace. But you can't advertise your way to affordable, compelling products. The key to Tesla accomplishing their mission is to rapidly drive the price of their vehicles down while simultaneously making them better. Chamath really has hit the nail on the head. And remember, Tesla does not exist in a bubble. They're dictating terms for the entire industry. As Chamath continues, this is a lethal combination which we haven't seen play out in any modern market before. Some companies cut prices, but most keep prices flat or increase them. Some companies improve products quickly, but no one has actually given you more for less on such a big ticket purchase so frequently. Again, the guy's got a point. It's kind of important. This really is a big swinging brain moment from Tesla. Often, people see Tesla do something, they go, hey, no one's done that before, that must be wrong. Tesla, you're doing it wrong. Don't you understand, Tesla? You're doing it different, and different is wrong. But I think in the fullness of time, we will discover that this was the right move. In fact, as I posted on X yesterday, Model 3 performance is a steal in the US at the moment. I really mean this, by the way. Check this out. Model 3 performance, as I record this, purchase price $53,240. This is before incentives. Knock another $7,500 off that if you're eligible. And by the way, massive discounts on Model 3 performance in inventory at the moment. Hello guys. You can steal these things right now. Get it for about 40 grand after incentives if you're buying from inventory. But check the specs out. For just over 53 grand, even without incentives and no discounts, a 3.1 second 0 to 60 time, 162 mile per hour top speed, 315 miles of range, but, and this is a big but, can't play Elden Ring. No! Now, compare that to the Model S, not the plaid version, just the entry-level Model S. $74,990 purchase price. Same 0 to 60 time, 3.1 seconds. Lower top speed at just 149 miles per hour and more range at 405 miles. And it can play Elden Ring. Now, think about this for a moment. If you're a consumer who's interested in performance, the Model 3 performance is the deal of the fucking century. And if you guys are curious, I highly encourage you, do some homework. What was Tesla charging for the original Model S? What was its 0 to 60 time, its top speed, and its range? You may be shocked. Remember, this thing came out in 2012, just over a decade later. And you can now get basically the same performance for about a third of the price. And believe me, if Tesla kept prices constant and just made the product better, they would not have sold over 2 million Model 3s to date. And of course, in fairness, I do need to show the Model S plaid specs as well. It's about $15,000 more expensive than the entry-level Model S at $89,990. 1.99 second 0 to 60 time. Absurd. 200 miles per hour top speed and 396 mile range. And yes, it can play Elden Ring. So again, take a moment here. Is there anything else on the market that offers close to the performance of the Model 3 performance for close to the same price? The answer is abso-fucking-lutely not. There is nothing even in the vicinity except the Model S, non-plaid, 20 grand more, comparable performance. So to Chamath's point here, this is Tesla's strategy. If your products are already exceptional value with exceptional performance, features, and functionality, and you continue to make them even more exceptional and even more affordable, you will win. This is what Tesla is doing. This is how they scale to 20 plus million vehicles sold per year. And I have to say, I think there's a lot of short-term and short-sighted folks out there who own Tesla stock who just can't comprehend. Stop Tesla, just advertise more and sell them for higher profit margin, Tesla. Stop, you're doing it wrong. I think a decade from now, most of these people are going to forget what Tesla's gross automotive margins were in this quarter or the next. This is the winning strategy. Chamath absolutely nailed it. In completely unrelated matters, great tweet here from Open Skies. EVs have passed a crucial tipping point in 23 countries, signaling the start of mass adoption. Once sales hit a 5% inflection point, countries have seen rapid rates of adoption, with median sales growth of 55% last quarter compared to the same period a year ago. From Bloomberg. Check this out. What we're looking at here is the first quarter in which a country hit 5% electric vehicle sales and current electric vehicle market share. Norway was early in the lead for insane incentives. Shout out to having a massive sovereign wealth fund. Long story short, for those who don't know, roughly a decade ago, Norway started giving absolutely fucking absurd incentives to people to buy electric vehicles and kickstarted the market. Now EVs over the 80% threshold, and this is important. Other markets will follow suit, just with a slight delay. In 2017 Q3, EVs hit 5% of the market in Iceland. They're now almost 40%. Sweden, moving even faster. It wasn't until Q2 2021 that EVs hit 5%. Now almost 40%. Finland, about 1/3 of all new vehicles sold now electric. Denmark, 1/3. Netherlands, almost 1/3. Ireland, over 1/4. Switzerland, almost 20%. And Austria, almost 20% as well. Germany, one of the world's larger vehicle markets, approaching 20%. So notice, just a few years after each of these countries hits 5% EV sales, we're seeing a tripling, a quadrupling, a quintupling and more in terms of EV market share. Australia is a rather stunning example. Check this out. In Q3 2022, literally 1 year ago, Australia was at 5%. Now, 11.3%. Part of this is to do with the fact that Australia is a tiny country. We weren't getting a lot of supply of electric vehicles. So, if you can't buy them, they don't sell, and therefore they don't make up a larger portion of the market. But Tesla started shipping a fuck ton of vehicles from Shanghai to Australia this year. And suddenly the market has absolutely exploded. In the span of 1 year, EVs have literally doubled their share from 5 to 11.3% in Australia. United States is now at 7%. And looking at the global total here, global EV sales hit 5% in Q2 2021. Just over 2 years later, now approaching 12%. We're well and truly past the tipping point now, folks. Now we're looking at the 10% threshold. Along the bottom here, we're looking at the number of years after electric vehicles hit 10% of all new vehicles. To caveat this does include plug-in electric vehicle data, but guess what? They're going away. They're irrelevant specs. The trend, if you delete these things, which make up a small portion of all electric vehicles that are being counted anyway, the story is the same. So 8 years after Norway hit 10% EV share, they're now over 80% in less than a decade. One more time. We have an example here where EV market share in a single country goes from 10% to over 80% in 8 years. China's following an almost identical path to Norway. Didn't hit the 10% threshold until a few years after Norway. But look at this. Norway in gold here, China in black. They're following essentially the same trajectory. This is a small sample set, right? But let's just say hypothetically other countries follow this same trend. Per the earlier chart here, countries that are already at or above 10%, give or take. In other words, countries that if they followed the same trajectory 8 years from now, or less, depending on how much above 10% share they're at, they could be more than 80% electric vehicles. By the way, that'd be 2031. New Zealand, Australia, Portugal, France, China, UK, Belgium, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Ireland, Netherlands, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Iceland, Norway. Oh, and I saved the best till last, remember? Global EV sales are now past that 10% threshold, okay? Do you understand? Approximately at the end of this decade, give or take, if global EV sales continue on this trajectory, follow the same kind of trend we've seen in Norway, China, and some other markets, electric vehicles will make up more than 80% of all new vehicles sold, give or take, at the end of this decade. By the way, I think this will come to pass. This is a big fucking deal. We really have reached the tipping point. And now, this article is entitled Karma. Tesla getting a lot of free money for doing what they needed to do before there was any free money on offer. Surprise, surprise. We're over on the Balls Deep Journal. Tesla leads race to draw federal money for charging networks. Elon Musk's company is beating out rivals to win millions of dollars in federal grant awards. Tesla is winning the early stages of the EV charging. Race, I'm sorry, but early stages, bro. When did they start building out their charging network? They've already won their race. The electric vehicle maker is building charging stations cheaper and faster than competitors. I wonder why. As a result, Tesla is scooping up millions of dollars in federal grant awards for building roadside chargers with bids that are about half the cost of what its rivals have offered. Rest in peace. Oh, yeah, by the way, shout out to all the morons who bought the EV charging network SPACs. I mean, seriously. The federal funds, part of a national effort to build out the country's charging network, might help solidify Tesla as the dominant force in the charging market. The funds have got nothing to do with it. Tesla is the dominant force in the charging market. But hey, I mean, if there's free money on offer, they may as well take that as well. No one expects a monopoly, and a group of other automakers plans to invest $1 billion in chargers, but the company already operates the nation's largest charger network with a decade head start on many newcomers. A handful of states are starting to release the first wave of about $5 billion intended to dot US highways with fast chargers and overcome range anxiety. Skipping ahead a little bit. So far, the US has only around 33,400 fast chargers, by the way. Sometimes people get a bit confused here. Every time you see these absurdly large numbers, they're talking about actual chargers, not charging locations, not stations. So for example, you don't have one charger per station, you have many of them. So just keep this in mind. There aren't 34,400 separate EV charging stations in the US, but there are over 34,000 chargers. 3 out of 5 of all fast chargers are in Tesla's network. The company started building out its proprietary supercharger network a decade ago, so its drivers could take road trips. In February, Tesla said it would open part of the network to other vehicles. The company is installing large banks of chargers at a faster clip than others. Imagine that. Tesla moving faster than everyone else. And has said it can do so at a cost 20% to 70% lower than rivals. Oh, imagine that. Tesla with cost advantages. Faster and cheaper, aka more resourceful. I wonder how this ends for companies that aren't Tesla. It plans to fit its chargers with connectors that will work with Tesla's or other kinds of cars, qualifying it for federal money. So far, Tesla is the winning bidder to build chargers at about 18% of the sites selected by states using the federal dollars to fund fast chargers. More than any other company, Tesla has won around 8.5 million of the roughly 77 million awarded so far. So hang on a fucking minute here. Question. It seems that in literally every single one, or almost every single one of these instances, Tesla has a meaningfully lower bid. We just saw at least 20% lower, and in some cases up to 70% lower than everyone else. Yet, of all the money awarded so far, they've only received 18%, despite being about half the cost of rivals on average. Question, does this make sense? Answer, no, it doesn't. I mean, let's be honest here. Tesla should literally be winning 100% of these bids. If they're about half the price on average, even in the worst case, they're still 20% cheaper, and in the best case, 70% cheaper, why would they only have been awarded a mere 18% of the money so far? Meaning that 82% of the cash has gone to much more expensive bids from competing companies. Why would that happen? Of course, I'm not a cynical person. I wouldn't suggest there's any corruption here, nor would I suggest that those who are awarding the money are trying to maintain an appearance of being unbiased, which actually makes them look like fucking morons who are allergic to data and facts because Tesla's bids are cheaper. I wouldn't suggest that they're dumb enough to go, well, if we give it all to Tesla, or lots of it to Tesla, even though their bids are half the price, people might think that we're unfair and treating everyone else except Tesla differently because Tesla's getting all the money because Tesla's half the price and they're better. We don't want to do that. So let's give lots of money to the companies who have much more expensive bids because that makes sense. So I don't really have an explanation as to why this would be occurring. Certainly can't be coming from top down at the Biden administration because it's not like they believe Elon bad and Tesla bad and, oh wait, but they do. Anyway, moving on. 5 states, Ohio, Hawaii, Pennsylvania, Maine and Colorado have selected winners at this point, and full details on sites and designs aren't yet available. Tesla's bids average around $392,000 a site compared with an average of $795,000 from others. I have another question. I'm just trying to understand because there seems to be a reputation that precedes governments for misusing funds, wasting taxpayer money. And I'm just trying to understand, why would such a reputation exist? Because obviously, as we can see here, it's not like we have a clear example of exactly that happening once again, in which most contracts are being awarded to companies whose bids are about twice the cost of Tesla's, because that would clearly be wasteful and misappropriation of taxpayer money. If I were a US taxpayer, I'd be kind of fucking pissed about this. Why on earth is anyone being awarded these contracts if their bids are on average about double that of Tesla, who have, by the way, a proven track record of building great chargers that, spoiler alert, actually work? I mean, is this corruption or incompetence? Let me know in the comments below what you think. In most cases, Tesla plans to install 8 chargers, and in some cases, a dozen. Most companies are sticking to the minimum required by the federal government, at least 4 fast charging ports at a station. Supercharger revenue could reach about $885 million next year and about $10 billion in a decade, according to analysts at Piper Sandler. By then, Tesla's total revenue could reach more than $700 billion, they said. Just for the record, I've had a quick look at my Tesla valuation model, which, if you don't know, is available exclusively on Patreon to supporters at the investor level and above. Currently runs out to 2032, but I model out past that. A decade from now in 2032, Piper Sandler are in the vicinity of my own supercharging revenue estimates. I am a little bit lower in the base case and a bit higher in the bull case, but they are way off the mark to the downside on revenue. My bear case is just over $700 billion in 2033. And that assumes literally everything that can go wrong does go wrong. Even in 2032, in my base case, I'm over $1 trillion in revenue. Again, if you want to see all the estimates, join Patreon at the investor level and above. You can access the valuation model there. And that, by the way, is the thing that produces my fair valuation for Tesla, aka formerly known as the price targets. Click the link in the pinned comment to join. Other winners so far include some of the nation's largest convenience stores and truck stops, which have spent decades buying property at highway exits. They have largely avoided major charging investments while the nascent industry remains unprofitable, but are applying for funding to help launch themselves into selling electricity as fuel. Many plan to join with EV charging networks, including Tesla's, to build and operate equipment on their properties. Skipping ahead again, the charging industry outside the Tesla network has struggled with growing pains, including broken equipment, billing fights with utilities, and unprofitability because of the relatively low, for now, percentage of EVs on the roads. Puppet Biden aims to have 500,000 public chargers in the ground by 2030, up from almost 145,000 now. That would be a mix of slower chargers that take several hours to repower EVs and fast chargers, the harder and more costly piece of the charging puzzle. The huge power draw of fast chargers means they often require electrical upgrades. Tesla's price advantage is in part because it makes its own chargers. Shout out to vertical integration. In one main bit, it estimated hardware cost of $17,000 a charger, compared with $130,000 by another company, according to EV adoption. Well, it's not even 10 times more expensive to use the other company, so I'm sure that they'll be awarded the money rather than Tesla. Quote, "We're vertically integrated," said Rebecca Tinucci, Tesla's head of global charging infrastructure, at an investor meeting in March. "We manufacture and engineer all of our own charging equipment. In recent months, companies including Ford, General Motors, and Rivian have said they would switch to the Tesla-developed North American charging standard on their EVs starting in 2025 and gain access to Tesla chargers next year." Which, by the way, is another reason that Tesla basically should just get awarded all this money. They've built the North American charging standard. Everyone's adopting it. Why the on earth aren't all charged? I just don't get it. Question: what would be more convenient for electric vehicle users? If all electric vehicles have the same plug and can charge at the same network without any adapters, or if there's a network of chargers, some work without adapters, some need an adapter, some vehicles don't have a certain charging port and need it. From a consumer's point of view, there should just be one standard. If anyone's ever traveled internationally, you know you have to carry a fucking power adapter around with you to plug all your shit in? Is that annoying? Yes. Did it need to be that way? No. But that's the way that it is. Wouldn't it be more convenient if everyone on Earth had the exact same plugs for power? You take your laptop, your computer, your shaver, whatever, and just plug it in wherever you go? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, it doesn't quite seem like things are headed that way. All the money being spent on non-Tesla chargers, to be honest, it's going to be a complete waste. For the next several years, the US will have a two-connector system, with most charging stations moving to offer both Teslas and the one currently used by most of its competitors, who are selling approximately zero electric vehicles, so why are they even wasting their time? Exactly. Good question. So, to recap, Chamath has absolutely nailed Tesla's strategy. Rapidly increasing price affordability plus constantly improving hardware and software equals winning. We can see that many countries now, in fact most, have reached the EV tipping point. A decade from now, the vast majority, if not every single new vehicle sold on the entire planet will be electric. Just don't tell that to the legacy automotive manufacturers who are still planning on making ICE vehicles beyond that point. As we saw, once a country hits 10% electric vehicle sales, less than a decade later, they're very likely to be in excess of 80%. And amazingly, Tesla is simultaneously getting a bunch of free money that they don't need, but they'll take. I guess that's a reward for their courage, their conviction, and their leadership, while at the same time also somehow managing to get fucked by the government by not getting more free money, which they absolutely deserve. Still can't figure out if it's corruption or incompetence. What do you guys think? Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon. And don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.